how do you account for the fact that a pendulum, a Foucault pendulum, at the North and South Pole behaves differently than, say, here in Philadelphia?
How would it act differently?
That's a good question. But this man here just referenced, if you're at the poles, you'll get such and such behavior, speeds.
You can't do that.
You can't be at the pole.
Well, there's only one pole, in my opinion, and it's the North. And are you talking about the magnetic North Pole or the actual North Pole?
How is it a pole if there's just one of them, man?
Because it's flat. It wouldn't work at the South Pole. But if it's a flat Earth, it works anywhere.
Flat Earth don't get a pole.
No, look, the pendulum works the same way no matter where you are.
You don't get a pole if you're flat.
Yes, you do. It's the North.
You get no poles.
You get the one pole.
Because you ain't got no fucking magnetism, bitch.
Yeah, you do. The North.
Yeah, the North.
The center.
That. Yeah, sure. North. Fortney.
Forsyth to the center. Lee to the center. Whatever you do not stand next to anybody else. So go ahead. What's your next question?
I don't have a next question, but
Foucault pendulum works.
I do want
to. Whatever your Foucault's pendulum works just the same on a flat Earth, because it's not pointing towards the center of this ball. It's pointing towards the fucking ground.
Okay, but for the purposes of this argument, like for you to say, oh yeah, it works the same on my Earth too, because it's flat. Well, obviously I don't think the Earth is flat. So when you say it also works in the flat Earth, I say, well, we don't have a fucking sample to try it on.
Didn't we just look this up the other day? We looked up plumb bobs or something. So the plumb bob is a pendulum. Is it moving when you're using the plumb bob? No, you want it to stay still.
Right.
You have to start it.
That's fine.
And then once you start it, it's going to wear out. It's going to eventually lose energy over time, and it's going to stop. And you have to reset it. It doesn't just go forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
So it's not a perpetual motion machine. What is your point?
So if the Earth was constantly moving, the Earth would provide the energy, and it would keep going. But it doesn't.
Alright, so this is like conservation of momentum.
So it's actually the proof of the opposite. But, they can't have that. So they just like, that's cool. Because they only go and see the pendulum for like, what, an hour at most before you get bored. And then you're like, alright, I've had enough of this pendulum. Let's leave. You're not going to stand there for like days. Unless you're mesmerized.
So if the people would just spend more time at the pendulum, they would then notice that the Earth is flat?
They wouldn't notice it because it wouldn't cross their mind.
Right, because why, what's the difference if they spend half an hour
with all
or 3
of us.
hours?
Like, we were all just like going around like, oh yeah, we know all this stuff. And then until you're confronted with it, you're never going to even think about it. That's how far removed it is from your mind. You're just so certain that it's a ball that you don't even, it doesn't even come anywhere near your fucking radar. Until somebody says something, and then you gotta be like, what?
Well, look, a regular person's going to be like, look, man, there's enough fucking information out there to show that it is a fucking ball, and that we use technologies that rely on it being a ball. So eventually you have to just scrap everything that's real, and people have to just hop on board. Like, they would need a quick head injury. Or a coma, or something that'll fuck up their memory. I don't know.
Everything that you just proclaimed was real isn't actually. Most of it, at least. So, that's where the problem enters. You're basing it... See, that's what... All I'm saying is you gotta take what you thought you knew and just put it all to the side.
It doesn't work
and when you look at this...
It doesn't work like that.
It does work like that. You can do this.
Okay, let me step out of my fucking brain.
No, you just take that and you have that thought, no, it can't be that, and you put that to the side, and now you have to figure it out as if you didn't already know.
Right, and I'm not saying you don't have a cogent enough story for how this works and that works, even though there's glaring fucking holes everywhere. But you can explain them away by God as mysterious, and that's just the way God did it, and So it's like, come on, man. It's nice to have a conversation when you can just make it up as you go along.
I'm not. Like, there's the sinkholes. Why do we have the sinkhole? You were talking about holes.
Why do we
many
have the
holes.
sinkholes?
Well, there's many holes, yes. There's sinkholes. Now, why would there be sinkholes all over the place? It's because there was water underneath the crust of the earth, like the Bible says, and then it burst forth, leaving cavities. If you have a cavity, and then certain sediment, the water keeps running through, eventually it's going to tear a hole through it, and it collapses.
That's the only way.
And then you get a sinkhole.
A sinkhole.
Well, it could be lava doing it.
It can't be like gaseous vapors coming from within the earth, or
well, they could, but they're going to still be moist.
some kind of deposit
they're gonna be, like,
that
hot and moist.
decomposes over time, or something ate something away.
Yes, it could also be that something big, like a
Dissolved
whole forest,
something.
was, deposit. But then those things turn into coal. So there's a solid layer there. That would have to get eroded
They
out.
turn into coal?
Yeah, all the dead... everything that died.
And how long does that take for a tree to turn into coal?
You're misunderstanding the
How
process.
long does it take for a tree to turn into coal, Sean?
First, they all have to be buried.
Right. How long does it take from when it dies till it's officially called coal? How long would you think it takes?
Probably takes quite a few years.
How many?
I
Give
don't know.
me a ballpark.
Probably maybe like 100 or 2 years.
All right, 100 years to 200
Maybe not
years.
even. Maybe not even, because the whole reason the whole way
This
I
is
think,
important, though. What I'm saying.
the whole
Your
way
age of the Earth collapses when you
No.
realize how much
No.
coal there is,
No.
and how many trees there would have
No, it
needed to
doesn't at all.
have died in that time.
No, everything died all at the same time, basically,
That's fine,
and they all got
but
buried.
you can calculate
Except
how
when they
many
all got
trees cover
buried.
the Earth.
So you're forgetting the key factor here. The key factor is you can't make any coal or oil by squishing things, because that's all. You got to squish it. So how do you squish it? Oh, right, the entire Earth was flooded.
Squish it.
So all that water
Squish it
is
real
mad
good.
pressure. I don't know about you, but you go down like 25 feet in the water and your head's going to explode. It feels like. So, and if a submarine that goes
20,000
deep,
feet up.
a deep submarine has some sort of like chink in its armor, the thing will just implode.
Yeah, he's got a gook in his armor there.
Yeah, so you can imagine you just got like all these, like, let's say dinosaurs, whatever, big animals, people, trees, whatever. They all get buried, and then they get squished by the weight of all that water for about a year. And then, for about a half a year. They were squished for about a half a year before the water started to go down and recede and relieve the pressure. So then after it all dries out, then I don't know how long it took between that and that. Like, I don't know if you need like some more time after it gets smushed and compressed, or if that did it right there. Because it's very hot down there too.
Look, man, I'm still thinking about the coal. I
Well,
would
the
like
coal,
to
it's
continue
the
that
coal.
conversation when you're ready.
No, the coal is the trees. The trees. And possibly animals are up in there
Sir.
too, because they find things in coal.
I need
They
some
find
information.
fossils.
I need some information.
They find fossils in coal.
Sir. So most of the coal that we use today came from the biblical flood aftermath
Yes,
of all the animals.
Most of it, because it can still be produced today, I would imagine.
Majority
Volcanic flows and stuff.
coal
Volcanoes are definitely
is
destructive, and
from-
they could do it if they buried.
from the trees.
But the pressure is the problem.
After.
You need the pressure, I'm pretty sure. So it might be
Okay, Sean.
There's a possibility.
The
it could be
majority of coal is from trees after the flood. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I've seen estimates before about like how many trees there are, or plants it might have been.
Yeah.
But I honestly can't remember. I want to say 10 trillion, but I don't fucking know.
Right.
But let's say I'll have to get that number. But once we get that number, we'll extrapolate or whatever to make it cover the entire Earth and trees, just to make you happy.
Almost the entire Earth.
Yeah, most of it. And then see how much coal that produces. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fairly certain that that amount of coal, that would have been every tree, and I'll even double it for all the trees that could have fallen onto the ground beforehand and been waiting to decompose.
Right.
We'll double your number.
Okay.
I think you're still going to only account for what China uses in 3 days.
No way.
That's where I
So
was going
way
with this the whole
overestimated.
time. So, it's just a guess.
But
But
you're also-
my point is that 1 Earth's worth of coal from trees is a lot, but it's not a lot.
You're also forgetting that the environment before that was way better. So these trees are going to be way bigger. Way bigger.
Okay, let's do times 10 for your how much coal can be
That's plenty
produced from
enough.
that, and I
That's
still
plenty
think you're going to
enough.
come up way short.
Yeah, well, the animals go in there too. There's animals up in that coal. There's also
Okay, well,
some
I
of it
asked
gets
you,
squished.
and you said you thought trees
Some
was the
of it-
biggest
yeah.
contributing factor
I
to
do.
the coal
I think
thing.
trees is
So
most
any
of it.
other topic, I think, is going to pale in comparison to this one, being that you agreed it's the majority contribution.
Right,
of-
no,
of
but there's
coal.
also oil too, which is also
Right, but we're not talking about oil. We're talking about coal.
yeah, but some of the coal gets taken away because it's oil.
No, the oil is
Smushed.
other things.
It gets I think the oil's mostly dead,
Well, it doesn't matter what you think.
living thing like
It
animals and
Doesn't
plants.
matter.
But dude, that's why we find these humongous ass fossils, fossil graveyards where there's just a buttload of animal bones just all over all. You don't even know what's what anymore because they're all over the place. As if they were all taken up in a flood, they were all dead floating bodies, and then they just all got sloshed together in a big pile. And then,
That's totally
and then
reasonable
buried.
that there could be floods, man.
Yeah, but there was long enough to discombobulate all their bones. They're all super flooded. Like,
Well,
you realize that there
look.
would be things that could be capable of surviving, like, not very long, but all the insects could at least survive on all the dead floating things.
When was the last time Africa was underwater? The same time everything else was underwater?
Yeah.
So, was that 5,000 years ago?
About 4,400 years ago. But Egypt didn't used to look like it does now. They'll say 10,000 years ago was the last time they saw rains. No, it wasn't 10,000 years ago. Your dating methods are shit. It was not that long ago. Like, just after the flood, that place was very thriving. There was trees. There
It
all
was
sorts of
many
shit.
thrives.
Yeah.
Much thriving.
And, the men came in and they took all the shit away and they used it. Now it's a desert. Shit, the one place, I mean, friggin' look at Sodom and Gomorrah. That place is toast. Nobody's gonna live there ever again. Thus saith the Lord. Nobody lives there anymore.
Why not?
Because it's fucked. Everything is it was scorched by like 6,000 plus degree Fahrenheit weather.
That should
fire.
be good for the soil.
Yeah, well, no, I guess not because it vitrified. Like, shit, it was so hot that like the freaking solid matter like turned into like wavy crap. You can still find some brimstone there. If you were to light some brimstone right here on this concrete, it would just burn a hole right through it. That's how hot it is. It doesn't matter what you have. It's going bye-bye. You could throw it on your iPhone 6, it would be toast.
I love toast.
So, yeah, this stuff is all over the place there. Just brimstone just sitting there, ready to be lit again. So, that's why you don't live there.
Fair enough.
Because it's, like, not a good idea. You want to help me build a vacuum chamber? And then once we build the vacuum chamber, you want to try and help me light a fire in there? Because technically speaking, you should be able to light a fire in a vacuum. Should you?
You're a bad person.
According to you.
I think, no, you should feel bad.
What, because fires can't be lit in vacuums?
Not because of that.
Because they'll be like, the jet still works because it has to suck air in. It's like, yeah, well, in a vacuum there is no air.
Yeah.
So you can't light a fire. There's no air. There's no oxygen. No oxygen, no fire. Fire rules number 101. So where's this giant gas ball sun getting its fire from? You don't got no oxygen to burn. It's burning hydrogen and helium. Seriously, next time they go on a fucking spacewalk on the ISS, all they need to do is just put like 6 different cameras on that motherfucker, pointing all which ways, and have them all at the same time. If they can do that, I'm pretty sure they'll capture enough footage to just go ahead and end the whole thing. But they can't do that because they suck. and they're not actually in space. And they have to do like twirling ballerina Barbie moves where they like spin around or like at least pan all the way around, not even turn. Like you could just turn your head and move your body, but not. Anyway, they have plenty of things that they could do to just end this, but they're not doing it because they can't. Can't fucking do it.
Not gonna do it. Wow.
You guys seen this picture? It's fake as fuck.
I know you've seen it. It just happens to be on Gizmodo's page right now. That's why. See that?
It's pixels. That's what I said. All the people who say, like, NASA, why are there never any stars from the moon?
It's a nebula.
But when you're on the moon...
Get out of here.
No, look. Fuck off. When you're on the moon, supposedly, you can't see stars. But when you're off the top of the moon, apparently you can see stars. But I know that you can't see stars when you're in a plane. So, if you can't see stars when you're on a plane, how are you going to see stars on the moon when you're in a plane? Or in the motherfucking spacecraft. You're above, like the plane. So if planes can't see it, you can't see it. Don't make sense. Don't make no sense. But you are a crazy, daffy bastard.
This is interesting. The headline is, "Why are sea levels dropping in places closest to the melting glaciers?"
Because water weighs more when it's frozen. You idiots. If you take an ice cube and you put it in some fucking full glass with water in it, and you let the ice cube melt, even though it's full to the brim with the ice cube in it, if you let the ice cube melt, the water will go down. Because the ice displaces more than the water. So if you have all the ice melt, no big problem. Sea level goes down. But if you have ice melting that's on land, that's where you're in trouble. Because now all that stuff that was on the land now is in the water.
Right.
That will make it go up. But if you melt water that's already in the water, if you melt ice that's already in the water, it'll go down. But if you melt ice that's on land, then it'll go up.
Tell me if this is fake.
It's fake as fuck. First off, why is it fucking black and white? Second off, why does that moon look like some CGI circle with a perfect fucking John? So bullshit.
What?
This is bullshit as fuck.
Just because you dogmatically think it doesn't
No,
exist.
it's not dogmatically. That is a fake as fuck image. Just look at it, man. It's not even real. Just imagine in your head that it's fake. Look, it's fake. That's not a real picture.
I can do that with most any.
I could do that
painting,
in fucking Photoshop in
image,
probably
video.
like 10 seconds. The fucking moon is nothing more than just like an inserted sphere with some shadows on it. Doesn't even have any color or anything to it.
You say that like that's the only possible thing that could be happening here. I can also picture somebody making this image. Why is it
black and white? Get me a color picture of the same thing.
Well, I see the word infrared image.
How is the satellite getting all these
infrared, and you want fucking...
No, I'm just asking, how is the satellite getting this perfectly framed shot all the time? Where are all the fucking bullshit shots that don't make the cut? Where are all those? They don't exist because they don't fucking take them because they're just making them. Otherwise, they'd have a fuck ton of bullshit pictures that didn't come out.
There's a ring, and it shows the fucking shadows on the planet.
Yeah, it looks so nice. Beautiful, like a perfectly framed shot.
Did you see the ring
shadows?
How the
hell are you going to get your satellite to do that? It's got to be orientated the right way. And it's moving, so you have to have a quick shutter. It's so big. Well, you can take a whole picture of this whole planet with its moon in front of it, but you can't take a picture of the fucking Earth?
Hey.
Really? Like, get the fuck out of here. The whole thing is just bullshit, man. What an Earthrise looks like from the surface of the moon?
I see the Earth on our screen here. They have lots of, it's this one again.
It's a very nice fake photo. Not real. Like, the fuck out of here.
No, picture that as, like, just shitty picture. I can see it being shitty picture with bad lighting.
Let me guess, this line here is the part that's not being lit up? It's ridiculous.
Well, just like there's a spot over this hump.
Why the fuck
There's a
would
spot
these
over
be
there.
all lit up, but this hump right here not be lit? Like, get the fuck out of here. Why is that hump shadow? It should be lit up. The picture is hard. You can't fake this shit. It's so easy to pick out. If you show me a real picture, I'll be like, word, that looks like a real picture. So far, I can't see any real pictures. They're all fucking retarded.
Well, it's never gonna be real, though. You're never gonna be like,
Well, if they're never going to be
that
real,
one
then
looks
they're...
real.
No, it will be. If
No,
you
you'll
can...
be like, it's too good.
We've just
Too
told
good.
you what you gotta do. All you gotta do is just take the fucking Polaroid camera. The most ancient, like... whatever. The camera. Just take the fucking Polaroid. And also take a fucking video, except pan around. Like, instead of just having one shot and have it being like, look at the earth as we go over it. How about you pan that shit around, like, a lot. Like, a lot. Even more than you normally do. Because they do pan it around a little bit here and there, but I'm talking, like, pan it, like, away from the earth, and, like, other things, like, oh, there goes the moon, that's the perfect time to get a shot of that, like, do it. Never gonna happen. Because they can't do that unless they're gonna fake it again. And if they did manage to get a real picture, then the thing would be ended right there. Because everybody that is in my corner would gladly admit defeat if you could show us some actual real fucking evidence.
Right, but what's the big deal if a clown admits defeat? Like,
Oh, that's a good point, I suppose. But are you disappointed that the sun's already on its way back?
a little bit, but I try not to think about it too much. And be all peace.
But hey, that would give them good reason to be like, global warming.
Global warming is schmorming.
It's not global warming, it's a trick.
It's a trick
It's
from
a
the
fucking-
devil.
Yeah, damn right.
Devil Lucifer is tricking us.
See, you know
and
the
it's
truth.
inevitable that God or the devil would
deny.
trick us. But we're still going to be held responsible for going along with him, even though it's part of God's plan for us to be tricked by him. Yeah.
No, because I just told you and you still deny.
Right, but it doesn't matter if 16 million of us or if it's 37 million of us who are getting duped. Like, whatever, man. It's millions of people getting duped, and it's the way God wanted it.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. I've made the assumption to say that you would want something to work out positively, but maybe that doesn't apply.
God is not
to
willing
God.
that any should perish.
What's up, dog? So it's not just a matter of saying that the flat Earth is real. You want people to have to discount everything they've ever learned. Oh yeah, the Einstein's relativity equation for gravity. It's all bullshit. It doesn't actually work.
Not everything they learned.
Well, you're saying math, basically.
You can make the math say whatever you want. You can make any math work. I can give you a chart and I can make it show you how something failed or won, depending on how I want to use the data.
You're talking about the misuse of like statistics and things. I understand that, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You can't just grab some random numbers when you're solving an equation for gravity. It's not just pish posh
Yes,
and
you
say
can.
it works.
You can because...
Right. So people spend
There
their
is
whole
no
entire
gravity.
lifetime, Sean, working on this fake, like, arbitrary thing. Why don't they just write it right immediately, right at the first time, and you never have to worry about it
Things
again? No,
will fall.
because it has to have meaning and has to provide answers.
Things will fall until they reach their terminal velocity.
What does that have to do with what I just
No
said?
gravity, they're just going to go down because they're fucking dense. But they have a terminal velocity. See, now if I add a pound, now it's going to go faster, isn't it? Or is it? It depends on what the shape of it is.
Depends.
Yeah. If it's a piece of paper and you're trying to make it go down like this, you're going to have resistance. But if it's like this, you're not.
Or otherwise, resistance, otherwise known as buoyancy in your world.
Yes. Well, there's fucking air there.
And you have to tell everybody,
You're
not
gonna
only
make
is the Earth
the air
flat,
move out of the way.
not only is the sun right there, so therefore the theory of relativity is wrong, and we
Yep.
don't understand how gravity, or we don't have an equation for gravity.
That's right. You have an equation for how fast things fall.
Right, and it's relative.
Not why they
it's
fall.
No, it's not about why they fall, Sean. It's about knowing the attraction, so you can
It's
measure.
just how they fall.
So you can measure based on the mass of something.
Yeah.
What the pool is going to be
Yeah.
with another object.
Yeah, I
so,
can measure both of them.
Right.
They're both just falling.
I understand that.
One could be more massive. One could be light.
That's fine.
The one that's more massive will fall faster.
What?
If you have two things like this, and this is very light tissue paper.
Well, tissue paper. Come on. Obviously tissue paper. But if you have a little weight of lead and a larger weight of lead.
Yeah, of the same thing, then they'll fall at the same time.
Well, of course.
Because it's the same
so
object.
why are you trying to... Who are you telling?
Same object. Hey, they're the ones up there, quote unquote, on the moon, dropping a hammer and a feather and
Is this
saying
an
they're dropping
elementary
at the
school
same
lesson
time.
you're doing here?
If you drop a fucking hammer and a feather, I guarantee you, on Earth, that motherfucking feather will still be in the motherfucking air by the time the hammer hits the ground.
And who doesn't know that? Why are you saying this?
So how you gonna go to the moon and be like, whoop, look, they both dropped at the same time because gravity is like 1/6.
And the
Not.
the air resistance.
It's called your feather had some fucking like wax on it or some shit.
Look, man.
Because you use such shitty fucking film, even though we had I can watch motherfucking Hitler in color, but I can't see the motherfucking moon landing.
HD color,
which is
man.
fucking 20, 30 years after the fact. Motherfuck. Like, you guys are fucking failbots. That's why NASA is bullshit. Use a good fucking camera. Don't be dicks. Go to the fucking moon, like you did before, and take some good fucking cameras.
Is it possible that they had weight constraints? And,
If you're telling me that
and
there's
the
like
older
a
film camera,
if you're telling me like,
was
oh,
lighter?
you can't send it that far. It's like you're sending me motherfucking pictures from Pluto, so you can fucking give me a picture of the moon in color and video too, and you can do that shit live stream.
Well, this year they had I think the first picture of Pluto.
If you can live stream from the fucking ISS, then you can live stream from the moon.
Have you seen the close-up picture they took of Pluto this year?
Yeah, it looks like Pluto,
Okay.
the cartoon character.
Yeah, I'm figuring that, but how does that apply?
It's just funny that you would see Pluto, the cartoon character, in the photo of Pluto.
But it doesn't look like Pluto.
It does. You saying you don't see Pluto's face right there?
Well, you goddamn Christians see things everywhere. You're like, oh, here's a face of fucking Mary.
The bottom part.
Look, if I want to force it, yeah, I can make it into Goofy, and there's an ear.
There you go.
There's his eye.
Yep.
But
His nose.
I think it looks more like a heart.
You know what actually it looks like to me? Looks like somebody took a wide-angle GoPro lens that's super magnification capability, and they just fucking zoomed in on the motherfucking sidewalk. Like microscope sidewalk picture.
Or they're on the beach or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. Or it could be a really high up plane, and they just take a picture of the desert
Don't be
and
ridiculous.
call it a fucking day. I mean, how hard would it be? You can make bullshit a whole planet, and then you can make like millions of dollars off these fake satellites that you're not even sending up, and just supply them with some bullshit pictures every now and then. You're gonna be making fucking bankroll. You're gonna be able to take over the world pretty soon because you're gonna have all this money that you're just getting like for free. You're not even doing anything that you're supposed to be